that's where I want my tequila from, the Jalisco Highlands in Mexico. I'm not drinking tequila from anywhere else. I don't know about you. Jalisco Highlands. Folks, I apologize about the phones. We did not have a phone system working for callers to call. Our internal hotlines work, so we can call people like Dawn Meadows Dixon. So I apologize you couldn't get through. The first 2 hours of the show, we basically didn't have any phones. This has happened way too often. If it happens again and goes for too long, we'll just shut the show down until they get the phones fixed, and they'll come back into work. I hate to be a jerk about it, but you know what? They're very important. The phones, to me, the callers, you people,
for talk radio,
are the most important part of the show. You're more interesting than we are. And you know, the only thing worse would be if the microphones didn't work. So phones should work. And when they're down, and it happens way too often. I apologize. So we think they're fixed. But now we can't really take your calls for a little bit. We can in a few minutes. But first we're going to talk to Dawn Meadows Dixon, not about a movie, but she's going to give us an ARD rating on last night's Oscars hosted by Seth MacFarlane. And she's brought to you by Westport Car Wash. There are 3. There's one on Page just east of Lindbergh. There's one on Lee May Ferry Road just north of Lindbergh. And one on Brentwood just south of Manchester. Westport Car Wash presents Dawn Meadows Dixon.
Hey.
Hi, Dawn.
Hey.
Well, the good news is you could call me, most importantly.
That is most important.
Yes.
This is such a joke, this phone system. It's embarrassing. No, it really is. I mean,
that's too bad.
We're a radio station. We should have phones everywhere. So you watched
I'm glad to be here.
I think I told you, I watched about 20 minutes, and once I realized, and I could pretty much gauge by the opening, and I thought the Shatner thing was clever.
I liked it. It got criticized, but I liked it. I thought it recognized social media and was clever. And I think Seth was likable. I love that he can sing.
But he was nervous. He was nervous. He looked nervous.
He looked a little nervous, but it made me a little nervous. But once I actually had to watch it backwards. I had it's the biggest night of the year for me, but yet I had a conflict at the beginning of the show. So I saw the middle to the end of the show and then had to watch the beginning of the show. By that time, I'd already heard a lot of the things on Twitter sphere that said, oh, he stinks. And there are so many haters on Twitter.
I know, and he didn't stink.
And he didn't stink.
No.
So my expectations were low, and then I was pleasantly surprised. I thought, the guy's funny. He didn't go to the edge like I thought he was.
He should have.
You thought he should be a little bit more edgy, but I thought he was funny. Dan and I were just talking about the line about, getting shot in the head and being in Lincoln's head, and everybody went, and he said, 150 years, still not over it. I thought that was kind of clever, funny. It wasn't real edgy, but...
Hey, do you want to hear the boob song? How long is the boob song, Peter?
Oh, the boob song was... I was talking to my mom about the boob song this morning. I said, I thought that was so funny.
Why,
Kate
Dawn?
Winslet.
Wow. Hey, Dawn, you're coming around.
No, I'm telling you, Kate Winslet, to me, when they said, right now you're shooting a film... And with boobs.
Now, you know what? Let's play it. Was it a minute and a half?
It was so funny.
All right, let's play it. For those who didn't hear, it's the boob song, and it's basically We Saw Your Boobs. And it's about all the women who've shown their boobs in movies.
It's one of the best moments of the show. I thought it was really clever.
All right, here it is.
We saw your boobs. In the movie that we saw your boobs. Meryl Streep, we saw your boobs in Silkwood. Naomi Watts in Mulholland Drive. Angelina Jolie, we saw your boobs in Gia. They made us feel excited and alive. Anne Hathaway, we saw your boobs in Brokeback Mountain. Halle Berry, we saw them in Monsters Ball. Nicole Kidman and Eyes Wide Shut. Marissa Tomei and The Wrestler, but we haven't seen Jennifer Lawrence's boobs at all. We saw your boobs. We saw your boobs. In the movie that we saw your boobs. Kristen Stewart, we saw your boobs in On the Road. And in Monster, we saw Charlize Theron's. Helen Hunt, we saw them in The Sessions. And Scarlett Johansson, we saw them on our phone. Jessica Chastain, we saw your boobs in Lawless. Jodie Foster in The Accused. Hilary Swank in Boys Don't Cry. Penelope Cruz in Vanilla Sky. And Kate Winslet in Heavenly Creatures and Jude. And Hamlet and Titanic. And Iris and Little Children. And The Reader. And whatever you're shooting right now. We saw your boobs. We saw your boobs. Ladies and gentlemen, the gay men's chorus of Los Angeles. We saw your boobs. 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 We saw your boobs.
I gotta tell you, I thought it was good, and he's a really decent singer. Now,
he's a decent singer and a dancer, and that was so funny.
All right, now take that same thing you just heard, and in your head have Billy Crystal do it. They'd have said it was genius.
Yeah.
If Billy Crystal had done that song, they'd have loved it.
Well, because, as we said earlier, Billy Crystal is one of them, where Seth is the new guy in town who got nominated for writing a song in a movie that was a box office hit. It's not really an Academy Award-type film, Ted. Funny film. I mean, they're already starting on Ted 2 or whatever. I mean, I have to admit, as raunchy as it was, I laughed all the way through it. But I just think that they accepted Billy Crystal. He's one of them. He's an actor. Seth MacFarlane still had a lot to prove, but I thought he was clever.
Who decides? Who is it that decides who they're going to have or who they're going to ask to host the Oscars?
I have no idea. I thought Hugh Jackman was wonderful when he hosted it.
Yeah, you know what? He was okay.
He wasn't as funny, but he's so talented. He just blew me away with his talent, and I'm just a huge fan.
And
last night with Les Mis, when the entire cast came out singing, I was bawling all over again, as if I was watching the movie.
What?
I mean, that was a moment. You didn't even stay for that moment.
No, I didn't see that. I'm glad I didn't.
And then Barbra Streisand.
I don't want to see her either.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan now, but, she came back to honor Marvin Hamlish. That was a moment. Jennifer Houston brought down the house, singing her song from, now I can't think of the musical that she won the Oscar for, but she was wonderful and got a standing ovation. But Seth then would come in, and you expected him to hit you with these zingers, and they were softballs. They were just, he was just lobbing them up, and they were safe.
Yeah.
So someone talked to him.
Yeah, I saw so very little of it, but B minus. That's why ARDs you're going to have to give it somewhere between a 1 and a 4. And here's what I don't understand. I don't myself care about it. I'm not starstruck by anybody. I guess I would go if I could just to see the event, but I've never been one of these people that, these people reach out like they're trying to touch Jesus. When these people come down the red carpet, they're hysterical almost.
Oh, I know.
Angelina! Jennifer! Look over here, Jennifer! What's wrong with people?
Well, now those are the photographers. Then you've got the people that spend the night waiting to get those coveted seats in the bleachers along the red carpet. And I've actually been on the red carpet. I did it 5 years. And
when it's all done, what have you really done? What have you really done when it's over? You do what? Here's what you do. Guess who I saw?
No,
I saw Brad Pitt.
It was the hardest job because you had to. I had no one with me to spot the stars, so I had to spot them coming down. I had to grab them. Of course, I'm a nobody, so I'm grabbing them, trying to ask them what they're wearing, what they did to get ready, and then the show starts, and then I'm taking a red eye to get back to bring it back to the station the next day. It was a lot of work. I'm glad I got to experience it, but it's not as glamorous on the red carpet for those covering it as it is for those walking the carpet. But, I love it. I've spent all day watching all the follow-up stuff and everything on E, and so, I love the movies, and this was a big night. And there were surprises in the winners. Ang Lee, The Life of Pi got 4, so I love when there's surprises. To me, Jennifer Lawrence wasn't a surprise. I knew she was going to end up stealing it for Silver Linings Playbook, which I saw again Saturday night. I actually watched it for the 3rd time. Her performance and Bradley Cooper. Oh, can I say how cute Bradley Cooper looked on the red carpet?
Well, you just did.
Man.
Yeah, you just did.
Can I say, and he brought his mother. Is that sweet?
See, he did it so that people like you. He did it so people like you would say, "Isn't that sweet?" That's why he did it.
I am in love. And then he did the thing that he just the icing on the cake. He slicked his hair back in a way. And the way he wore his tux, I'll tell you, he was the best-looking guy.
Easy.
I'm telling you, the only thing that bothered me, he looked just like his mother, like there's his mother's face, but it looked better on him. Isn't that horrible to say? But they look so much alike.
Now here's the other thing I don't understand about all this. In this economy, which, by the way, we're headed for some... I don't want to get political, but folks, pay attention. You watch your paychecks. We're headed for some not such a pleasant time in the next few years. And for all the people having a tough time, I'll never understand why millions and millions of people are so excited and happy